The topics of today's lecture is green economy in the third and fourth industrial revolution. Usually when somebody is speaking about green economy, green revolution, people understand that this is some purifying equipment, this is environmental sound goods. Yes, it's right, but it is only upper part of iceberg, because green revolution, coming green economy, it is really face transition to new our future, to new our life. It change all sides of our life at all. Okay, and I'll try to show you this logics of these changes. So part one, concept of green economy. I will start from history. In 1960s, famous American scientist, economist Kenneth Boulding published his paper, article, and with a very strange title, From Cowboy Economy to Spaceman Economy. It meant the spaceman economy, an economy of spaceship Earth, where all people of our planet would live. What is the principal difference between a cowboy economy and a spaceman economy? Why it's called cowboy economy? Cowboy economy is based on three principal items. It's non-renewable resources, resources which we take from the nature, from the land, and less reserve for our waste. It's broken cycle. It's only one life cycle of life of resources, from resources to finished good and then buried into reserve of waste. And the third item is growing material metabolism. It's growing matters of materials, always growing. But we do not have now at our planet nor enough resources of material, resources of energy, like coal, gas, oil, and we do not have empty places, like in Japan. I live for one in Japan. We cannot put waste somewhere. Yes, in some African country, in Ukraine, we have empty place, like Sahara, to put waste. But Japan does not have it all. Each kilogram of waste it has to hide under future building, under future spotted field, under future airport. So Japan already lives in spaceman economy. Spaceman economy like a spaceship. Spaceship has limited space for spacemen. So we have to use quite different approaches to arrangement of our economy. And these principal three items, it's renewable resources. We do not have non-renewable resources. We do not have now coal, gas, oil. We have to think about something different. And you will see this difference for future economy. The second one, closed cycle. Waste has to become beginning of next cycle, beginning of raw material. Not itself raw material, but waste has to run by cycles. You understand? And the third principal item, we have to have stable flow of material metabolism, limited, not growing like in cowboy economy, but limited, which must be makes cycle by cycle. And it was written and it was published in 1960s. And 30 years, mankind thought and made decision in 30 years. Happened in 1992 in Rio de Janeiro, when president and prime ministers from 178 countries cited declaration about sustainable development. You can see the principal idea of sustainable development. Sustainable development, it is development of people at the earth with a way which provide satisfaction of needs of present generation, me and you, and maybe your children. But under this, future generation has to live their own ability to solve their own problems of living, of providing of food, of providing of in clear environment, and so on. So conventionally, economy which provide this way of development might be called sustainable economy. This is just a green economy. Now we'll try to think about some features of this economy. Firstly, about precondition. Why head of countries from whole the world come to Rio de Janeiro and had to cite this agreement? Because now very, very dangerous indication of our impact of environment of our planet. One indicator. There is some indicator, it's called like ecological footprint. footprint which we leave at the planet nature for providing one average man, human at the our planet. Now, it's necessary 2.2 hectare of earth for provision of life of one man. But planet can give only 1.8. So we have already deficit. We have already scarcity of natural resources. 20%. It means that we have to pool in space the planet like 20% of our Earth for provision of mankind at the surface of our planet. Another indicator of one famous Soviet ecologist, Nikolai Reimers, who came to our university, and he made this his principal paper in ET building. He wrote about some limits which can overdo people. I do not want to tell about all these limits, but I only underline one very dangerous limit. We cannot produce energy more than 1% from those quantity of energy which planet gets from space, from sun, from any kind of space, rays and energy. But what does it mean? It means that people needs energy, but in the same time, people cannot produce surplus of energy for their production. We can only relocate, redistribute. We can use only those energy which our planet already get from outside sources, from sun, from wind, from stream of rivers, and so on, from biogas. So we do not have to produce energy from coal, from gas, from oil, even from nuclear power station, because it is surplus production of energy. You understand this? So green economy has to solve this task problem too. It is this moment include two problems. Green energy, first, more cleaner in terms of production of surplus energy, and it is cleaner because it does not have emission into air. And I hope you prove all these things in future our lecture. You can see all very famous events at the global level when documents concerning to the problem were signed. It is Rio Declaration, in 2009 Declaration of Green Growth. Green growth, it means growth not through GDP increasing, but through production of information, production of green energy, and so on. 20 years after World Summit in Rio happened, World Summit Rio Plus 20, where green economy principal approach was studied. And the last event, it is Paris Summit on Climate. It happened only half of a year in Paris. And now a little bit about theory. 3 principal points of theory. I'm glad that most of students now are future medical or engineer. They must understand this principal theoretical item. First of all, the world consists of open stationary systems. All that is in the world obligatory is open stationary systems. The second one, any system can exist only carrying their metabolism. It's constant movement of matter through the system. For instance, our body change our material contents through a few months, but some part of the liver change during only 10 hours. You come morning here with one liver and come back home with different liver. And the third principal item, the system has be stationary. It means they have to care very narrow interval of their parameters. For instance, each of us can exist under very limited temperature, 36.6. 3 degrees less or 3 degrees more will be fatal for our organism. Say we can say about blood pressure, about contents of microorganisms in our body, about wetness, about dryness, about frequency of our heart, and so on. But in the same way, all which consist in the world has to keep this homeostasis. And now you can see the conventional picture of sustainable state, sustainability in our planet. What does it mean? It is equilibrium of 3 stationary systems. It is in the center, it is biological nature of human. Human cannot exist under different temperature, wetness, air pressure, and so on. It is provided, the necessary condition is provided by biosphere, by nature. For biosphere does not matter. It's necessary narrow interval of parameters. Because it's needed only for the human. Does not matter for biosphere. Already disappeared 4 billion of different kind of animals. If the human will be one more for nature, okay. But we understand that we have to survive. Why we need to care just this concrete condition at the earth? And the third system which takes part in this equilibrium, it is a social economy system. It has own metabolism, it has own homeostasis, and only this system it has to change parameters. So we have to conserve our nature, our organism, because we cannot exist under different conditions. We have to conserve the condition of biosphere, and this condition are provided by trillions different animals, species, plants, and so on, by different diversity. You understand why we need to protect all animals, all plants at the earth. They provided us necessary condition. We can only change the thought system. What is this change? Can you imagine you come to elevator, lift, and it's written the limit only, for instance, 5 person or 7 person. And lift is open, and you see that it's already 5. In order to extra person come in, it's necessary limitation concerning not to number of person, concerning of weight. You understand? Some way. So in order to extra person has a right to be born in the our earth, it's necessary that ecological footprint became less. It means that for one person we need less material, less energy. It means an energy capacity, but we need clothes, we need food. It means energy intensity of production. Food for one person must become less. It means that material input per one close unit must be less. It means that our economy must become much more efficient. And now it's very important thing. New economy must be more efficient, not by percent, not by percents, not by 10% or 100%, in times. Is it real task or no? Now you can prove that, confirm that it's a real task. So what's happened if we destroy this equilibrium? Why it might be destroyed? Extra number of people appeared at the planet. Now you know that it's very fast growth, but it will be not constantly. Maybe some scientists said that until 2040 or 2050, the population of people at the planet will be constantly. Maybe it will be phase transition. Okay, what happened if we produce extra quality of energy or extra quality of material? The equilibrium would destroy. But why? The main cause is its appearance of extra population. Do you remember? We cannot produce more energy than 1% of energy which we get from the sun. Okay. And the problem of sustainable development, it is problem not only achievement of equilibrium, environmental equilibrium. There is another one danger. And you can see the picture which I took in native from me country in Ghana, because I visited Ghana. This is termite, the house of ant. Ants solve their environmental problem. In which way? They conservated the environmental condition inside of their house and conservated their, I would say, social development. By the way, ants has some social arrangement. They have differentiation of labor, some hierarchy, and so on. But they conservated. Maybe for million years. Do we want to become these ants? No. In Russian language, there is even some special, somebody says that his future occupation, a philosophist. So one famous Russian philosopher say, give some term, человейник. In Russian, муравейник means house of муравей, муравей ant. Человейник, it means house of human, but which similar, looks like a house of ant. But we do not want, because to survive for our biological human, biological organism, it is only the first task. Another task is social development of another human who lives in our biological body. Who lives? Personality. Each of us is like Trinity, Christian Trinity. In biological body, which does, which makes some power function, lives in material essence, absolutely immaterial. Information essence is personality. Personality has as food information and produces as production, information too. If our biological body has material limits for development, in space, in time, personality does not have limit at all. We can jump immediately, faster than light, into any country. For instance, now I can see some landscape in Ghana or in Japan, where I lived for 1 year, immediately. So this information, human, does not have limitation both in space and in time. And the third essence, it is labor men who combine our physical ability and ability of our mind. So sustainable development, very few scientists and journalists understand this second task of sustainable development. It is infinity development, social development of our personality, of our information essence. Okay, and we cannot, another very important point, we cannot back. Some scientists say, what's happened? Andrush. We cannot back to nature. Some scientists say, let us back to nature. We cannot back to nature because back to nature, undergrowing number of people at the earth, it means back to diseases, back to poorness, and back to our disasters, and so on. Scarcity of resources. You know better than people from different wealthy countries. What does it mean? Back to nature. Okay. Можно? So we can only go forward to nature, and we can go, we must go to spaceman economy, economy which functioning within the limits, material limits, by closed cycle and with stable material quantity of our resources. I would underline again, it will be phase, it will be not quantitative change, it will be qualitative change of whole life of people at the earth. Somebody say that this, our transition, we can compare with appearance of man and the earth at all. It will be huge event in the life of mankind at the earth. What does it mean? What must bring this phase transition? It is new energy, it is new communication, new settlement, so living environment, new economy relation between people. It will be new lifestyle, new needs, and new men. You could see characteristics of green economy. I already said that this is renewable resources, closed cycle, and so on. But it is also must be self-organization of environment surrounding the man. Self-organization. And this objective will solved by fourth industrial revolution. And why we need self-organization? We have to go constantly for improvement, green improvement of our environment. And I would like you need to understand why we need phase transition. Phase transition, it's saving huge number of energy. It huge degrees of energy intensity. Why we need this energy? Just for that purpose, for change just this personality. Only immaterial man can create infinity in limited condition of the space. All artists, all painter, all sportive, all actor, they try to do like a god, infinity in limited space. Okay. Now you can ask your question in order to come to the second topics of our lessons. Do you have any question? Okay. Well, you have a question?
Yeah. I want to find out from the presentation that we've had so far, it looks as if the spaceman economy is also the same as the green economy. Is that the case?
Yes, it's correct.
Okay. And I also
conventionally, sure.
Okay. I also want to find out, you know, the cowboy economy and then the spaceman economy. Is it that strict definition that a country is either a cowboy or spaceman, or a country can stay in between a cowboy economy and a spaceman economy, or a country should be strictly cowboy or strictly spaceman?
No, it must be step by step. It's coming. And each country has to find its own way to green economy. Why it's a cowboy economy? Because Kenneth Boulding lived in America. America, symbol of unlimited space, was condition of cowboy. Cowboy has a lot of grasses for feeding of cow, and it anywhere, everywhere it can buried waste from cow. But maybe some country can change name, not cowboy economy, but steppe economy, and so on. In Africa, maybe some different forest economy, because forest gives us and less unlimited resources for eating, for wood, for material, and so on. So, but I would underline the answer for your question, that each country has to find own answer for this question, how to achieve green economy. And green economy must be different in any country. For instance, in Japan, 80% of territory is a mountain. It's a different civilization. But in the Netherlands, already 60% people live at the territory which before were the sea. They has to take some part of land from the sea, and even they have to pay pump tax. It means pump every day, every hour, every minute has to pump supplies water from this territory. So green economy for the Netherlands quite different from green economy of Japan. And Ghana has own green economy. Moreover, that each country has different animals which support, which care this biodiversity and ecosystem. When I moved in Ghana, a lot of people was selling that some animal which looks like between here rabbit and rat. You understand what is? Yeah. Big one, like big rat or some rabbit.
Yeah, it's a rat.
But you cannot find this animal in Ukraine or in Brazil or in Japan. Russia has huge area of forest. It must be different culture. If I say about diversity, biological diversity, I must say about diversity of culture. Yes, we will be like spacemen in the spaceship, but it does not mean that we has to be universal and similar each to other. We have to be difference. It must be diversity of culture for surviving of our civilization. We have to make each other richer during exchange of information. Our scientists from our department defended the thesis in Ukraine. It is called, its title is like convergation of Ukraine. It means that each region of Ukraine must be equally by economic wealthy, but quite different by information. You understand what? I have to give you something, and you have to give me on the same money. But I must to give you some cultural information, machinery. You can give me on by the same quantity of money, but clothes or food. You understand? Okay, thank you.
Now, which of these two, in your own opinion, is the best that we are supposed to practice? And you said that Japan is practicing spaceman economy. What about other countries that are not practicing? Is it because they have a large land, that's why they are not practicing that one, or because maybe we see the cowboy economy as the best one for us? For instance, you went to Ghana, and you know that we have a very big land. So we have our own way of managing the environment. Would you say that we should change from that one to spaceman economy?
You said that, I would say that cowboy economy is the better, because it's, we do not think to be in, it's very difficult to live within the limit. At one conference, after the conference, participants tried to they were divided into some teams, groups, and each team has to show symbol of sustainability. And one team make sketch of them and said it is living within very strict limitation, environmental limitation. It's called the symbol like environmental condom. Another team show disharmony at the piano, and disharmony became step by step in symphony. So we have to understand each other to find common language. But in the same time, there is some symbol, one principle of sustainable development. Think globally, act locally. So for me, cowboy economy much more happy. I can to play football everywhere. I can to throw out some waste, paper, everywhere. But it's, we do not have at all potential. We must come to cowboy economy. Okay? And now, just...
So I want to know which economy is Ukraine now? Ukraine.
It's cowboy economy, but we have, maybe you watch TV. Yesterday, yesterday TV program told about the waste problem in Lviv city. They acted like in cowboy economy. They dig up hell and put waste there and there. And one time it's fire, it's happened the fire, and now they must to solve very immediately some way coming to space economy to make some factory for treatment of waste or burning of waste. It means one of the concrete step to stay a spaceman economy. Similar situation is in Sumy. I remember the time when we just put in the land waste and even burn intently. But now these waste already stop. We have to put and cover with land. So it's mixed between cowboy economy and spaceman economy. But some of them already mixed. It's impossible to jump immediately from one economy to another one. I hope that Japan has already long way, but it started maybe 40 years